Good afternoon, wherever you're joining us for Operational Excellence Week Canada. My name is Candice, and I am the moderator for today's session. On behalf of Leslie, Angeliki, Grant, Quinn, Nicole, and I, we thank you for joining us for today's day one of the event. This presentation, Transforming with Your Customer, the Evolution of an Operational Excellence Partnership, presented by Ryan Beckwith, National Process Automation Consultant at Ricoh, and their presentation promises to be well worth a listen. Before we get started, here are some quick administrative points. During the webinar, if you have questions for the presenter, please submit them to the Q&A box on your screen, and these will be answered during the question portion at the end of the webinar. Likewise, for any technical issues, please write them into the Q&A section, and we'll get to them right away. The widgets on your screen can be resized and dragged around for your viewing preferences. We encourage you to visit the Resource Center on your screen for additional content and resources we and your sponsors have provided for you. So make sure you're sitting comfortably, and I'll hand it over to Ryan so we can begin.
Hello. Thanks everyone for joining today. So today we're going to take you through a customer case study. We're going to talk about the evolution of how we transformed and started with this customer from a technology-centric provider and transitioned into more of a services-led provider, and how we've developed our partnership over the years. I'm going to talk about some of the lessons learned we've had over our relationship, and using our own transformation experience to help improve and optimize our clients' business processes. This specific challenge is going to get into accounts payable at one of Canada's largest retailers. First, we're going to go over some generic Ricoh transformation information, and then we're going to dive right into the case study. So at Ricoh, we've really had to rethink how we offer our services to our clients. It's really a new way that people are working, or a new world of work, we call it at Ricoh a lot. We've had to develop solutions that support the remote worker, that support process automation, and really help our customers along their journey with IT and cloud services. Our solutions have really been developed to help enable access to secure business-critical information, so employees need access to information anytime, anywhere. We've done this through content management, through workflow products, through IT security and cloud services, and digital rights management services. We've also used our solutions to implement and streamline business processes and really get away from paper-based processes. And if we can't help our customers transition away from those processes completely, we help them to enable a process that allows them to digitize at point of source and very early on in the process. We leverage technology to keep the offices safe, especially in today's environment. A lot of those solutions that our customers have implemented have really allowed them to continue business as usual during this COVID time. So at Ricoh, when we help our customers on their journey with process automation, we really think about kind of a few key factors. One is business continuity, being able to operate the process and maintain the process no matter what, whether that's a pandemic or that's a power outage or that's an internet interruption, or if there's an office closure for whatever reason, really being able to ensure that that process is able to operate and continue to operate in any unforeseen circumstances. We want to use these solutions to empower our employees to really have engagement in that process and really enjoy the process and really remove anything that could be frustrating. This could be manual work. This could be time spent doing things twice in a process. So really ensuring that we have the processes set up both inside of Ricoh and for our clients to really maximize our employees' time and maximize the engagement in the actual process. Absolutely everything has to be secure, and information governance is at the forefront of every process automation solution we put in place today. Remote workers, now more than ever, need to be able to engage and work and collaborate in that process wherever they are, wherever they are, at any hour of the day. And really just ensure our employees and our customers' employees are being productive. So when we talk about maximizing operational efficiency, we think about a few things specifically with processes. So some of the things we think about is being able to capture, classify data, convert information to digital workflows, automate manual business processes, improve information, all those things you typically see. Our team has been trained and is able to basically take a look at how our customers are operating these processes today and really bring new ideas and innovation to them that will allow them to transform their processes, to drive change and to drive adoption of those new processes. So now I'm going to get into the exciting part of the presentation, which is really our customer's journey. So this customer started with Ricoh in 2005, and we were really just a print vendor to this client, a large print vendor at that, but we were just a print vendor. We were selected in 2010 to change that strategy to become a managed print vendor. So what that meant is now not only did we provide the print infrastructure, we actually managed it. And that's everything from the help desk to the toner replacement program, to managing paper, to all of those things that are included with a managed print provider. After we perfected that, we moved on to helping our client with digitization. We started as a provider to simply provide kind of some backfile services. So this customer wanted to move away from storage offsite and wanted to scan as much as possible to A, give the employees access to it, and B, really be in a state where they could find any document at any given time within seconds. So we really started our digitization with this client with really as a backfile journey. That evolved to being able to scan at source. So this was across thousands of stores across the country, different offices across the country. So we helped the client implement a decentralized scanning process that allowed the enterprise to then scan and directly store content directly into their ECM tool. After this, it transformed into Ricoh providing accounts payable services, which is really what the case study is about today and how we've really transformed and optimized this process. So this solution was successfully rolled out in Canada in 2008 and is currently processing over 300,000 invoices a month. The solution continues to evolve and continues to be used for other solutions inside the organization. What you see in front of you is a very high-level process overview of the actual process that was implemented. So I'm going to get into it later today, but Ricoh does offer an end-to-end payment processing solution, and it really captures everything you see on the screen in front of you. It can do three-way matching. It can integrate with flat files or web service files or through an API to go and push information to ERPs or pull information from ERPs. We can automate all of the data extraction. We can automate things like timely things like GL coding and cost center coding. We can improve approval times by about 85% and reduce overall processing time spent on the invoices themselves and the team required to do so by about 70% within organizations. So we can make a significant impact by implementing our service. Not going to get into this too much because I really want to focus on the customer journey, but some of the benefits that our clients have received through our process are kind of on the screen in front of you. So really, at the end of the day, some of the big things are centralized workflows, GL code automation, electronic approvals, full audit trail, exception handling. All of what you see in front of you is available within one application, one service that Ricoh can implement. So now more about our client. So I'm going to start with the journey. So really, this started with an imaging solution. So this was a basic challenge for them where they had all of these stores, they had all of these invoices, and it was becoming extremely expensive to ship these invoices back to head office to be processed and then ship them off for storage for the 7-year archiving and archiving solution. As we were going through this journey, we quickly realized all of the things that were connected to these invoices and the process behind it. And we quickly paused with the client and gave the client some feedback that we've discovered during some of the discoveries. And it became very clear in the client's eyes that this process was very manual based the way it was, and that something needed to be done, and that looking at the entire process from end to end made a lot of sense. So we quickly made a call and switched to expanding the scope of the discovery. So we looked at things like the store receiving process flows for how data came in, and then also what happened in the back office when these invoices were processed. Some of the challenges our customer has. So direct store delivery was an extremely painful process for our client. And this would be for vendors that were delivering direct to stores. There was a heavy time component for the bookkeepers to actually process those invoices. So these invoices were actually manually keyed by the store bookkeeper, and they would put together packages every week. This took about 4 hours worth of time for the different bookkeepers to be able to process all of these invoices every week. The client was spending close to $375,000 per year on currying just these invoices to central office to be then processed. Invoices were very difficult to find. As you can imagine, the sheer volume of these invoices meant that they literally had no solution in place to be able to scan them. So they would come in, they'd be processed, they'd be thrown back in a box, and then off to storage. And recalling those became extremely painful because there really wasn't a great process in place to do that. So what happened is they ended up relying on the vendor to provide backup in certain situations, which is never a great experience. So when looking at a process like this, what's in it for our customer is faster and more accurate application of cash, reduction of overall process costs, improved vendor relations, automated imaging, and a portal solution that both vendors and store employees can interact with. Store level benefits. So for bookkeepers in store, they would spend time weekly organizing this package I spoke about. They would collect all the invoices. They would actually copy them, keep a physical invoice on site, and send one physical invoice into head office to be processed. In the new process, bookkeepers simply take all of these invoices, walk up to the MFP, hit one button, and they're done. There's no sorting, there's no barcode sheets, there's no splitting of invoices. Everything is scanned with one touch. We saved over 4.5 hours per week per store. As I mentioned, there was a cost of copying the documents, so each store was keeping their own records as the stores were franchised. And this became costly because not only were they copying all these documents, but they had to then store these physical copies, and they were also sending in a physical copy to be processed. So this was costing close to $14,000 a month when you include the copying and the storage long term of all of these documents across the country. Obviously, reduced courier costs. So now, because of these documents are being scanned in store, they're being shredded immediately, and there's no cost for storage. There's no cost to courier to head office to be processed. So some of the vendor benefits. Vendors now have access to a portal. They can now log in. If they have an issue with not being paid correctly, they can register that issue right there. They can look things up in the portal, like when is this invoice being paid, how much am I being paid. Before this, there really was no self-serve option, and the client had a team of people literally dealing with these calls coming in and trying to support and rectify these solutions, these vendor inquiries with the vendor. So with the new process, this team now gets 80% fewer calls as the vendor is able to self-serve the majority of the time, and that call never comes in the first place. So decreased time to actually process a claim. So what this means is there's no more back and forth for documents. Because we have everything scanned at store, we know exactly what happened. So for any given time, let's say a vendor didn't deliver something that was accurate, and the receiver crossed it out and said, no, I received 4 instead of 6. Now when the vendor goes in to make a complaint, we can actually see those documents, and we can see that the receiver crossed it out and they only received 4 items, so that's all they were paid for, and that's why the payment doesn't match the invoice. So right then and there, the solution is rectified, and there's not really any time spent going back and forth to figure out why the, I guess in the eyes of the vendor, short payment occurred. Administration benefits. Reduction in offsite storage, absolutely. Significant cost savings. Efficiencies for the vendor inquiry team, I already talked about this. There's no more time spent dealing with these vendors, looking for backup, looking for all this information. Significant reduction there, and significant negotiation leverage now built with the vendor. As the vendor is now getting paid more accurately, they're getting paid on time, and the vendor is more open to giving discounts as the overall relationship is now improved. The solution also drives significant analytics, so data can easily be fed into BI platforms, merchandising optimization, financial analysis, and vendor performance. Some of the key benchmarks of the solution: 95% reduction in packages mailed out, 70% reduction in claims, 40% reduction in staff required, and 75% reduction of time spent in actually preparing these packages. A high-level overview of the Ricoh solution. So it's a one-touch process at store. So invoices are received, they're collected, they're walked over to a multifunction device. There's one button on the device. Invoices are stacked in the dock feeder, and then the green button is pushed. There's no separator sheet. There's no individual scanning of invoices. This is very much a bulk scan, and it's designed to be a very quick interaction for that bookkeeper or store associate. After these documents are scanned, they come into the Ricoh portal, the Ricoh solution. That's where all of the workflow happens. So anything that needs to be routed for approval or anything that needs a 2- or 3-way match, that all happens there. And then basically a file at the end of the day is uploaded directly into our customer's ERP that goes and provides all the information that needs to be required for that vendor to get paid correctly. The vendor is still paid as per payment terms and everything that's set up inside of the ERP. And the portal also supports exception handling. So if there's exceptions or approvals, our client interacts with all of that inside of the Ricoh solution. And the Ricoh solution now becomes the only solution that updates our client's ERP. We are vendor agnostic, so we can work with pretty much any ERP that's out there today. This is kind of just a high level of how the vendor would do some store lookups or things like that. So the vendor has the ability to look up an invoice number, or a PO number, or a check number. They can search for things like a check number and see what the check they received is supposed to be credited for, what invoices it's paying, things like that. The store also has access to do this. They can look up any invoice whenever they want. So yeah, building a culture of operational excellence and continuous improvement is something we always we strive to provide to all of our clients and all of our engagements. And our goal is to leverage these solutions across the enterprise. So it's about building a digital on-ramp to further drive process automation and really drive scanning at the point of source. So the quicker we can digitize a document up front in the process and move it through an electronic workflow is always where we're steering our clients. This solution can be used for warehouse process automation, store reporting mechanisms, HR scanning, legal team process automation, accounts receivable, and other entities inside of our customer's business. So again, we really strive to provide a solution that can be built on. It's not a solution where we design one solution and it's only for accounts payable. The solution can be used for multiple different things. It's a tool set, and it's really about enabling our customer to drive more digitization, more process excellence inside of the corporation. So what differentiates Ricoh is our proactive approach, the expertise that we have, We always put our customers first. We can deliver a complete solution. In our toolkit, we have everything from RPA solutions, advanced capture solutions that include solutions with natural language processing. We have ECM solutions. We have creative IT solutions, managed services. We are a complete solution provider. With all the different solutions we bring to the market today, we can truly make a significant impact with our customers' processes and deliver an exceptional customer experience. We have a proven track record. We've been doing this for over 30 years, and we're a global company. We have global scale. So at this point, I think we're going to open it up to Q&A.
Yes, we are. We have a few questions here. The first one is, Ryan, how long has Ricoh been providing these services?
So Ricoh has been providing these type of services for well over 30 years, specifically to the accounts payable solution that we're talking about today. We've been providing it and developing it for about 10 years now.
Perfect. Okay, our next question is, what is the difference between AP solution and procuring software?
That's a great question. So basically, the big difference is that our AP solution, the one we're speaking about today, is delivered as a service, and we do both. We have solutions that are software-based as well that are very successful and when implemented correctly can make a significant impact. But the difference between our AP as a service is that it's more of a turnkey solution. Our clients can simply procure the service, and then Ricoh will do all of the development work to develop the solution, all of the customization. We'll build all of our clients' business rules into it. Really, the only thing our clients have to worry about doing is exposing data to us, and either that's done via an API or web service. And after that, Ricoh really takes over, and the solution's built to do that. Now, I guess the one unique thing as well, when compared to specific AP software solutions, is that we find in the market today that a lot of those AP solutions are kind of like a box. So this is the solution. You need to take your process and you need to fit your process inside this box. This is absolutely not what the service does. The service does the opposite. One of the things we hear from our customers all the time about how flexible it is once they've implemented it. So think of the process you have today. We can take that, we can digitize it, we can automate it, and we can fit your process inside of the service. So we really make it easy for our clients to make this transition. There's very limited work pushed back on the vendor. That's another thing in today's marketplace today with a lot of procure-to-pay solutions that are out there. There's a lot of work being pushed back to the vendor. So they have to key in the invoice, or they have to upload an invoice in a certain way or through a certain template. None of that happens today with the Ricoh solution. Your vendors continue to invoice you the way you're getting invoiced today. So it's a very seamless transition and very light on change management. Also, speed to implementation is a lot quicker than having to implement software on-prem.
Thank you so much. The next question that we have here, Ryan, is what is the implementation process like?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So basically it would start with, so we would go through this exercise. There'd be some mini discoveries, and we would decide that we're going to partner together to implement the solution. Once that decision has been made, we would then work to create a BRD, which is a business requirement document. And really what that is that defines all of our customers' business rules, how they want the solution to work, where we're going to get the data from, all of that good stuff. And typically that process takes about 30 days. Once that document has been completed and signed off by both Ricoh and the customer, we would then proceed to implement the solution. Implementation usually takes between 30 to 45 days. And I would say that around 90 days, we're at a point where we are wrapping up UAT and planning to move into production. Even for something as large as what we talked about today, where thousands of locations across the country, this would absolutely be doable within that time frame.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ryan, for the very interesting and informative webinar. If anybody wants to listen to this session again, the webinar will be available on demand shortly. Finally, thank you to you, wherever you are, for taking the time to listen in. We look forward to having you on our next session starting in only a few minutes.